Hello everybody, welcome back to our channel. Today we got our guest Manu Jose who have done his bachelor's and master's in French literature and came to France for another master's. His journey has been quite interesting for me as an host. I hope you will also love it. We spoke about scholarship opportunities, job market in France, language issues, resume edits and everything. So let's jump in and hear from him. Hi bro,
Hello, Mahesh.
welcome to Mahesh Mantani.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations that I have heard you got an internship.
Yes. It's
Yeah,
it was a surprise.
yeah, for me as well. I got more content for my video. Yeah, somehow we're gonna talk about it later in this video.
Yeah,
First, I literally want to go back to your bachelor days
yeah.
because in India, it's not a thought of taking a literature in a foreign language. It's
Hmm.
not a common opinion or option for the people.
Yeah,
So, where does your thought came to pursue a bachelor's in French literature in India?
yeah. So let me present myself first.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, definitely.
So my name is Manu Jose. I
Yeah.
am from Kerala. I am 30 years old. I have done a bachelor's in French language and literature from Hyderabad.
Yeah.
I was there for 3 years. Post that, I did a master's in French language from Delhi University. In between, I have been doing several internships, workshops. The first major job that I did, it was at Amazon, but that was much later on.
Yeah.
Coming to your question, where did this thought of doing a bachelor's and a master's in French came from? After my intermediate, I had put in a lot of thought to decide which stream to follow.
Yeah.
Like most people, I did consider medicine and engineering, but those were not my taste, even though I did an intermediate in science. I have always been very fascinated by literature, movies, history, politics. I was someone who enjoy reading, getting to know new things,
Mm-hmm.
etc. One of the countries which have always fascinated me was France. French history, the culture, the food. I have been very curious about it, even as a student. So my political aspirations too led me much closer to France, French culture. So I decided to do a bachelor's in French. Uh, I looked for a foreign language course because I wanted to do a business master's later on, but things panned out differently because I did my business masters much later in life.
Yeah.
So that's what led me to EFLU, English and Foreign Languages University in Hyderabad, which was a pleasure. 3 years, I had very fond memories of Hyderabad, the people, the food, the culture. It was a really good immersion. The campus that I studied in had people from all across the world. There were international students, there were students from different parts of India. Uh, that was a first immersion and introduction to French language, and it has still ongoing. Yeah.
Yeah, when you are in France, it's an ongoing process.
Yes.
Bro, you spoke about food, culture, and history as well. But generally, what does your French literature course include in India?
In India, the course is very, you could say, very pedagogical. When you are picking up the language as a foreign student in a foreign country, away from the living language and the culture, it is quite difficult.
Yeah.
How you start the course is with uh, grammar, spoken, written, and also other courses which were there, which were optional or what you called as soft courses. Um, Initially, it was quite weird, to be honest. It's a new language, the culture is different, the pronunciations are quite not what we are used to. Then you start to get immersed in it due to people around you, the professors, The other students, there is also the international environment in the campus helped. There were quite a few francophone people in the campus with whom you could speak in French with. But for most French learners, I do think that it's very difficult because the language stays as something foreign that you learn, but you never get to practice.
Yeah.
It is quite like I could say Hindi in the southern part of India, where you learn the language, but you are not getting enough chances to use it, so you don't know what to do with it. So for most students, it is like that. They do not know what to do with the language even after learning them. But I have to say I was quite lucky. The professors were quite talented, quite useful in my studies, and we also did a bit of translation, culture, history, which gave a meaning to what you were doing. So
Yeah.
language does not exist in isolation. It exists as a living, breathing organism, to say. So you learn a lot of things while you are picking up a language. You learn also about the people, the culture, the history, if you're someone who is interested in those things. Yeah.
Like generally, as you mentioned, with all the things, although you have your classmates and your course people who might very much interested in speaking in French and practicing French or knowing about French culture, generally how difficult was it for you, like apart from your class or your courses, none of us speak French over there in India.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
how difficult was it? Because as I mentioned couple of times in previously, it's not an option to see a foreign language to study in India.
Yeah, there are quite a few colleges which have this language option. I think Delhi University offers it for people. There is also IFLU. There are quite a few private colleges across India which offer different foreign languages for students who are interested to do a bachelor's in it.
Yeah.
But the problem always remains the practicing of it. There is
Yeah.
no direct immersion, and immersion in a language and culture is the best way to learn a language. I would say that the cultural immersion really helps you to catch the language as it is right now, how it is being used. What often happens is that you learn a language and you might be learning it from a book or a grammatical prescription. And when you reach the country, the language that you speak and the language that is being spoken over there by the natives, it is quite different. This is quite the difficulty that students face while learning a language. Luckily, for people who are learning the language while being in a foreign land, the person or pardon, the place that they want to be in, uh, that is quite immersive. That is quite helpful because you come in contact with people and the language on a day-to-day basis. You see French everywhere, wherever you go in France. If you get in a bus, if you go to a supermarket, if you go into an office, you see French. You hear people speak in French. The movies, if you go to a movie hall, you will have it in French. So that really helps push your limits, help you come out of the comfort zone. Try the language that you know, the words that you know, so that you will use it more, you will
Yeah.
practice it more, and you can sharpen your skills. This possibility is very less in India.
Yeah.
There are students that I know who take language classes privately from individuals or from institutions which offer. One of the institutions which is quite famous in India and world over, it's called Alliance Française,
Oh,
which teaches French, and which is an institute which is in collaboration with the French embassy. So they are the ones who are trying to communicate about French, the language, culture, all across the world for due to the political and cultural motives of France, of course. Yeah.
I want to discuss more about immersion, student life,
Yeah.
the way we live here as well.
Mhm.
But before going there, I mean, like generally, what are the career opportunities one can pursue after French literature, masters, or
That
like
is
bachelor's and masters?
that's a good question.
Yeah.
Nowadays, that question becomes even more relevant because of the integration of AI.
Yeah.
It has become quite a question mark. Earlier, the job opportunities that foreign language students had was due to outsourcing of jobs from Europe to or Asian countries back to India,
Mm-hmm.
because India is a hub for cheap labor. So many European countries were outsourcing their service, like customer care service, or even seller onboarding service, or
Okay.
other facilities back in India,
Mm-hmm.
where the back end work was being done along with the software, which we were already doing. Other services were also being imported to India. So there was a huge market for that. Then there is this market of translation, which interpretation too, which exists. There is a sector of tourism where
Mm-hmm.
French speaking people or German speaking people, or any foreign language speaking people, they are coming over to India, and the translators and interpreters. There are also opportunities for polyglots with the UN, if you have another master's related to a particular field that they are looking in.
Mm-hmm.
So these were the options which existed before. Apart from the teaching profession of the language, or the being a professor at a university, if you are so inclined. Now AI is playing a huge part. We do have to know it, and people who are picking up the language for as a bachelor's or major should also look into it.
Yeah.
That many jobs are getting automated. Several translation jobs are getting replaced. Same with interpretation. I'm not saying that the opportunities are completely vanishing, but they are reducing.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
people who are coming into the field should also take this aspect into consideration when they decide to go with French as the major focus. Yeah.
At this point we can't really point how extent AI can impact on
Yeah.
every sector, of course, definitely. Bro, like, apart from India, do you think is there any opportunities for the people from India who have done bachelor's or master's in French literature in
Mhm.
France?
In France, yes, in the sense that it is much easier for a person who is French speaking and who is familiar with the culture to
Mm-hmm.
get acclimatized into the French culture. That can also be read in regard of the recent changes. I think it was in 2024 they made changes in their immigration policies, and recently too there have been changes in the integration standard exams, which were held, which are going to be held too. Now there is an examination which all the foreigners who would like to stay in France for a longer period of time who will have to take. I think it's a 40 question examination where you are expected to get 80 percentage of the marks.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is also the requirement of B1 or B2 level of French, which is required to apply for citizenship or a long
Yeah.
stay, I suppose. Along with that, if you take the French policy of assimilation into consideration, what I mean by that is that each country has their own politics when it comes to what they do with foreign national citizens in their country. Either it is multiculturalism, like you say, which happens in USA, for example, where you are just trying to maintain and manage all the different cultures, experiences, etc., together in the country. Or it could be, on the other hand, where you have France, where it is about integrating the people, assimilating the people into their culture. So first
Okay.
and foremost, any person who comes into into France is should be assimilating into the French culture, language, politics, etc. So
Okay.
this is a major difference in the politics of different countries, and people who plan to move abroad should also look into the politics of that country to know what you are expected to do in the country. Yeah.
Okay.
So French, the language, the culture that you learn, it really do help you give an idea of what you are getting into, which several people find very shocking when they come over here. Yeah.
Like, you have done your masters there in India in
Yeah.
French literature, like, So then, where does the thought of doing another master's came to you?
Yeah, so I picked up a master's in India because of both two things, convenience and also because that's what I wanted to do back then. I wanted to, like, I was giving it a considerable amount of thought to get into the field of being a teacher, a professor, which I dropped after my work with Amazon, which I did post my master's. I really did like the corporate culture, the work ethics, how things were progressing. But in order to go up the corporate level, I needed to have more skills in the management sector, and I had to acquire new knowledge set apart from what I already had. This was the basic motivation which led me to do a master's in business. So my master's is called an MSc in International Management and Business. And
Okay.
Mahesh, I am also doing my course at Odensia.
Yeah.
Right now, I am done with my studies. My 2 years of studies of masters are over. I have learned many new things after coming and taking up this masters. It was a interesting experience, very different from the stream that I came from, that I have studied. And does it offer new opportunities to people? It does, if you have the right skills.
Okay.
Having the right skills as per the market demand seems to be the most important thing that all of us needs to progress well in our careers. Yeah.
You have an opinion to go into teaching sector, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you teach anything now?
In fact, all through my studies, I have taught people
Yeah.
as a tutor, a private tutor for people.
Yeah.
I have taught people language, English to foreigners,
Mm-hmm.
French to Indian students. Also, throughout my life, I once I started picking up French, I also started teaching it. It's in fact quite a flourishing profession in India. I
Yeah.
realized I didn't know the scope of it back then. There are several people who work as tutors for students, and in major cities, again, French is also taught as an optional language in the schools, which
Yeah.
was not happening back in Kerala, the school I did my studies in, because it's a rural place and the school was also quite in towards away, far away from the big cities. So we did not have this option. So it was quite a new option for me,
Yeah.
even during my bachelor's, to pick it up. So yes, I did pursue the teaching option a bit. I also thought of doing a PhD and becoming a professor at a point, but yeah, before that, I came to France to do an internship to teach English to French students. So this was for another internship, which is in relation with IFI, Institut Français, and yeah, they offer a language exchange program for international students who have a B1 level of French
Okay.
and an IELTS score of 7.5 and above. They should also be enrolled in an educational institution, if I'm not wrong. So this was done again quite a few years ago, I think 4 years ago. After doing the internship, doing a bit of teaching over here, I went back to India. I took up a job. I worked for 2 years, and then I decided to do my masters. So for people who are listening, that could also be a good way for them to explore France.
Yeah.
They could maybe start picking up the language, get a B1 certification, and an IELTS test. So if they have it, they can apply and see if they make it through. If they make it through, they get a 7 months internship, I believe. And the working hours are not so much. It was 12 or 14 hours per week, which is literally nothing.
Yeah.
And you just work as a teaching assistant for primary schools or higher schools in France.
Mm.
yeah, it's a good cultural immersion program. So you will also get to know if you want to stay in the country for longer,
Yeah.
if you come and do something like that for students who might be interested. Yeah.
Then how extent that internship journey helped you or impacted your decision to move to France?
After that internship, I went back and I picked up a job because I really wanted to know what the work culture is, how corporate things work out, because I wanted to try give top corporate also a shot. Uh, so that's why I went, and I did not. You also had this option to renew the teaching contract or find a job over here
Here,
if you wanted. Yeah,
like
you
after internship.
after internship you could have renewed it again to teach do the internship again, or there are people who work as tutors who know English with university. So in university you will be, instead of assisting a teacher in the school, you will be assisting a professor at the university. So
Okay.
that is another option that students had, which I was not really interested in back then. I wanted to work and see what work was, work culture, which is something that you are supposed to do at the end of the day. So that is what I wanted to explore. Uh, yeah, so there are opportunities like that. There are also people who apply for other jobs and who might land it. It all depends on your luck, the demand. So it's always a part of luck, a bit of luck, I will always say, and then also your qualifications. They also help you find something.
Cool. Like, bro, in previous explanation, you was talking about your masters here.
Yeah.
In which course you are in?
Yeah, as I mentioned, it is called International Management and Business. It's an MSc course. It's for 2 years. For people with work experience, they could even do it in 1 year.
Okay.
It involves 4 semesters. For me, it involved 4 semesters of classes. Then comes an internship of 6 months, which is mandatory to validate the course.
Yeah.
You're also expected to submit a thesis in a field that is related to your studies, and this is usually offered in pairs or at Audencia. Usually, you do it with another student, and in the course you deal. It's a very generalist course where you get a taste of everything. You deal with a bit of international trade, international law, supply chain, consulting, different fields, a bit of finance too. So you become acclimatized with different sectors of work. There are workshops from different companies. There are projects that you submit in collaboration with companies. So it gives you an idea of what different sectors are like,
Okay.
and it do give you a good basis. The professors that we had, many of them were quite specialist in their fields, which also helped add value to the course and the knowledge that you gain. What you do post the course depends mostly on your previous studies, your previous work experience, and the kind of field that you want to try. So most of the times, what happens is that people take up an internship in a field that they want to pursue further on, and then they see how it pans out. A journalist masters is good as long as you have an idea as to what you want. If not, it might leave you even more confused
Yeah.
than how you started.
Actually, that was my main question next time. Like, who can take up, because everything is scattered when people are not specific in masters as well.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they will end up on confused.
yeah. So it is in fact one of the problems that I have seen many people have. They do not know what they want to do.
Yeah.
I myself did not know what I wanted to do at one point in time. But if getting introduction to different courses also help you understand what the field is like, and it is not a small amount of course that you do. You do maybe a supply chain course, 2 or 3 courses in supply chain, or 3 or 4 courses in consulting, then a few courses in finance. So you get to know how the layout of the field is. Then if you want to explore further, most of the fields are open to take applicants or like students to come and get to know the field and what it is like. Nobody is against it. But having a speciality or a specialization from the get-go also helps you be a specialist in the field, I
Yeah.
could say. But it also fixes you in that spot. You are not able to move from that spot because you do not know anything about any other thing or any
Yeah.
other field. Most of the times, people who have done the course go on to become project managers,
Yeah.
international project development, because the course does have this aspect of management to it, which I did not mention. In fact, cross-cultural management, international management, how to lead different teams coming from different countries, different origins, because these things do cause a lot of friction in work environment. The expectations can be different. Yeah, so it's also a management oriented course, where you get to know how to be and how to manage in different environments and fields with people coming from different backgrounds. Yeah.
Okay, then as you mentioned, like if, for example, if someone came from financial background,
Mhm.
he has more in-depth knowledge to finance, right?
Mhm.
So when a person from your course
Mhm.
applies to a job in finance,
Mhm.
so don't you think that the person who have done a specific finance course has a better edge than the people who have done your?
100%. I
And
agree. I agree
then
with you.
I'm like, then what is the point to? I mean, like, where do you see that edge for your course?
The edge for the course is knowing multiple things within a particular domain. Nobody working in our current environment is just a specialist in one thing. You are
Yeah, of
expected to know
course.
many things. So this course exposes you to many things. If a person has done finance all their life, and imagine that person is given a managerial role, the person might not know how to deal with a team. He
Yeah,
might not know how to collaborate with people from different cultures. He might not know how to even divide tasks between different people, because the
uh,
person can be good to work individually, but is the person good to work in a team? Which is often a problem. It is
yeah, of
often
course.
a waste of money for many companies, is picking the wrong person for the job. Uh, you select a kind of person, and then they might be good to work alone, and then you put that person for a managerial role. He might not be the person for that role. That's why many a times you see in companies which are very specialized, a person who has worked in a different sector altogether but has managerial experience comes up and takes up the role as a manager. So people within the organization or within the company often ask, why was someone from the field not selected? It was because being a specialist in the field and being a good manager are quite different things.
Yeah,
You can be a specialist in the team, you can be good at your job, but that needn't necessarily mean that you can be a good manager. So that's where specializations like this come. That's again why there is also another MBA offered for people who have work experience, which is called an executive
yes,
MBA, which is often done again by people who have a lot of work experience. And why do they come up and take up an executive MBA if they already have work experience? It is because and having an experience in the field and then doing the job are different things.
yeah,
Especially in managerial positions. We are not talking about a technical post which requires a technical skill.
yeah,
We are talking about managers in the field and in companies. And what skills do they require would be the right question to ask.
yeah. So basically, you are saying putting people into manager position based on their technical knowledge won't add up much.
It usually doesn't add up.
Yeah,
If you if you notice that because company is not just about like making numbers work. It is also about maintaining the staff.
Yeah.
What is the retention rate, or how is the team cohesion? Why do we have people who called happiness managers and stuff in companies nowadays? It is because it is also important for people to be happy and content with their work, especially in a country like France. Again, you are supposed to know that they try to maintain a good work-life balance.
Yeah.
The moment you step out of the office, you are away from work. So no one else calls you, asks you to do something. No, you're away from work means you're away from work. You have a life outside of your work,
Yeah.
which is a very good thing, a very positive thing I would say about France.
Yeah.
That they do take their vacation seriously, they do take their free time seriously, and that is one of the things which is often lacking in Indian work environment, I would say. Yeah, the long working hours, and even when you are on vacation, there are managers who might ask you to take your laptop with you to and work at your vacation location, which is very unheard of in Europe. Yeah.
Now you are doing your masters here, but do you have any other preferences while applying your universities?
Yeah. Regarding the universities, yes, I did look at several universities before applying, but I was someone who decided to apply quite late. I think I applied in April,
Okay.
but many people do apply for the course much earlier. The courses for, if I am to give you an example, we are in 2026 March. I think people can start applying in 2026 July for 2027 July. So almost a year
Yeah.
before you can start your application. So in 2024, when I made my application, I was applying for the same year, September intake. So it was a short notice. Also, the price is also a barrier. You also have to check the fee structure of different universities and see what is affordable for you. There are colleges which are quite reputed, which you might even get into, but the fee structure for them it's quite hefty. So you will have to see if you can shoulder the amount, or if you can get a loan, or however the financement that is required for your stay and your education will have to be thought about. For me, Audencia was an option which was preferable because the college was quite accredited. It has the triple accreditation for business schools. Along with that, the course that I wanted was here, a journalist masters. Then there was also the fact that I did not want to stay in Paris.
Okay.
I wanted to stay a bit away from the noise of a big city, because I have always stayed in big cities for quite a while. So that also helped. Known this to talk a bit about known this student city.
Yeah.
So it's quite friendly, quite calm. The only issue that one might face in Nantes is the rain. So it rains a lot over here, as you know. Other than that, it's a good place, good people. There are student job opportunities here and there. If you look for it, you can find something or the other. Thus, I preferred to take the MSc in Nantes over a college in Paris.
To add on to your, I mean, like application process,
Mhm.
I have seen most of the top universities, French business universities, start their application in September of previous year. I
Mhm.
mean, like for 2027, if you have to go in September
Mhm.
intake, the first set of intake takes from September 2026.
Yeah.
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 So the generally application process goes for four phases:
Yeah.
phase one, phase two, phase three. Phase one starts in September
Mhm.
first. So technically, as you said, one should start working on their profile
Yeah.
in July or June or July
Yeah.
to target for first phase of applications.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And it also helps people, to add on to the same point, to find scholarships by
yeah.
applying early. When
Yeah.
you apply late, what happens is that many of the scholarships for the academic year that you want to apply to are already closed, they're already done. so you do not get much scholarship opportunities. So applying early is a good choice.
Chance of
Yes, yes,
admission is high when you apply in the first phases as
yes,
well.
yes.
Yeah, definitely. So, bro, getting back to your degree one, I'm like, do the France companies value the French degree? How extent they value the French degrees?
It's an add-on. They see that when a company is looking at you and your profile, they like to know that the person who is coming into knows a little bit about the culture,
Yeah,
the what is going on. The person who is capable of reading, understanding, writing the language, which is quite important. Like I said before, the French government and the French society is assimilating is the process. So having a good level of language already, it's a big plus in your CV when you're applying somewhere. Many students who are qualified who come from India, they might often face this hurdle that they are not culturally in tune with what they want. So that step of it is skipped for a person like me who has this background. What comes in play for someone like me would be the technical skills, what I can bring into the table, and what I can add to the company, etc. Yeah.
I forgot to ask you about you while like the question of your university targeting. I hear that you have applied before as well.
Yeah.
For not this time, you have
Yeah.
applied a couple of years before as
Yes,
well.
yes,
Can
yes.
you tell about what has happened actually?
So in back right after my bachelor's, I was planning to apply for a course over here in France, and then I had to drop that plan because it was quite expensive for me to go ahead with the plan back then. What I did is I understood how the system works. I learned what needs to be done to get through. So what I first did was I came for the internship that I talked about
Yeah,
before. I did a job. I made some savings. I created a credit in my name, and then I applied for Audencia. And this time around, the story was quite different because I'm here now. And yeah, I took up the course that I wanted. So for students, even I would say who would want to pursue a master's outside and who are not able to find find a financing option to fund the studies right away, if they are not getting a scholarship, they could even go directly do a job for a few I would say 1 or 2 years, which would give you enough credit in your financial like the financial aspect of it would be quite secure. Banks would be much more willing to finance a person who already has a credit score, who already has good payback, etc. So creating a credit score and applying for a job is another option. So many people who come to do their studies abroad nowadays, they come after pledging some or the other property or
yeah.
something like that. For me, I have not done that. I came here because I had a good credit score and the banks were just willing to give me a loan because I have a good credit score. And for certain universities like Audencia and other big business schools, several banks recognize these institutions as institutions which would give the person who is applying for a loan a good return or a good salary post the studies.
Yeah.
So as this perspective is already there for the bank, they are more than willing to give you a loan to fund your studies for stay back or whatever. So that's also another option for students to look into if they cannot immediately take up a master's due to financial issues.
Yeah, bro. Like to add on two questions from my side. The first one is, do you think is there any scholarship that students can target?
Uh, Mostly there are scholarships offered by Eiffel. Eiffel scholarship is open for all students to apply for, and they close their application sometime in March, I believe. So that is one scholarship that students can target. Then there is the Erasmus scholarship. Like you can pass the test and see if you can get an Erasmus. You can become an Erasmus scholar for the
Okay.
specific fields that you are looking into, because it's not just management courses that are there in France. You also have scholarships by foundations which are based either in India or in France. So there are certain foundations on the names of some of the other people who have contributed heavily to French-Indian relations, or it might be a trust fund that which was created by somebody, which gives scholarships to
Yeah.
students. At times, there are also MNCs which sponsor students to do their courses abroad. For that, you have to apply to the particular company where you have found the scholarship. Then you will have to put your CV, letter of motivation, all these things to the company. And most of the times, you already need to have an admission to apply for such scholarships with these companies.
Yeah.
So, such options exist. Even from Indian government's part, there is scholarship, but the amount is not that significant. So I don't really remember that.
Yeah. Comparatively, I think the
The other
amount is
ones, yeah,
increased.
yeah.
I mean, like when it comes to the scholarships or funding by MNCs, I have mentioned it my previous video, educational video. I'm like, I think people can look at it.
Okay.
The second add-on question from my side is, uh, you have mentioned that doing some job or as we did in India, we both have some work
Yeah,
experiences. So doing out there, we can pool some money to fund our masters
yeah.
and stuff. But keeping financial burden aside,
Mhm.
how extend that a couple of years of experience in India can add weightage to the profiles of the students over here?
It depends often on what kind of work you have done. If it is a specific stream where you have experience, and if it is the same stream that you want to continue over here,
Yeah.
that would be an addition to your profile. They often prefer companies, other French companies often prefer companies that they have heard of. So I worked at Amazon. It's an MNC that everybody knows. So
Yeah.
having worked at a big firm is often looked as a positive thing. Then it also helps, apart from the uh, companies looking at it, how you are perceived in France, etc. It also gives you a glimpse into what the corporate culture is in India. No?
Yeah.
And when you come abroad and you work over here, you will understand if there is a difference between the work culture and the corporate culture in different countries, even though you might be even in the same company. The way Amazon India works and the way Amazon France works can be quite different
Yeah.
because of the cultural differences, the expectations of the employees of the company, labor rights.
Yeah.
France has a very strong labor
Labor
rights,
rights.
and their labor rules are quite extensive. Sorry. So that's also something uh, which is interesting when you look between these countries. So having a big company in your CV it's good. If even if it is not a big company, if you are working in a niche and if you have experience in that niche, that's also something which is good.
Yeah. Maybe I think like big company. I feel it's funny because I don't know about companies, but when I spoke with my fellow classmates and
Mm.
a few staff as well,
Mm.
they don't even know the company called Infosys.
Yeah.
Bro, it's a third largest service based company in all over the world, and
Yeah.
people don't know.
But it's funny that people do not know it.
Yeah.
The commercial side of France, one could say that it is at La Défense. It's a major station. One of the biggest buildings in La Défense, I think it belongs to Infosys. Huh? So yeah, it's funny that people do not know.
Yeah. Fine, bro. I'm like, you mentioned that you teach a bit of French over
Yeah.
here. I would really want to insist a bit of French language. Generally, which pronunciations from language
Mhm.
from India
Mhm.
will makes quite awkward when literally translated to French?
Uh, pronunciations that
or
would
pronunciations or expressions
yeah
or statements, some kind of.
I expressions are very culturally determined because what expressions show us is in fact the what you call the cultural imagery of
Yeah.
how a culture views an experience. So they can be quite different. I could talk about pronunciations which are quite tricky, which is interesting while you are teaching language to students.
Yeah.
You often notice that they confuse between the Z sound Z and the J sound J. There is also the issue that often happens between in in as we pronounce it in English.
English. Yeah.
It's in French. So that is an often mispronounced word. Same thing with en, which is pronounced as on. Yeah, also the way the French language has accents, while English does not have any accents, that is often confusing for people. The pronunciation issue often comes because we are heavily influenced by English,
English accent.
and we are used to the English words and pronunciation so much that we try to read French like we are reading English,
Yeah.
which is very counterintuitive because the pronunciation of each letter in the alphabet is different in
Yeah.
French. So it takes a bit of time getting used to, but knowing English also helps because many words are quite similar. So you can guess and understand several things if you have a good understanding of English. But it is also difficult in the sense that you can get influenced a lot by English and then you can go sideways. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any common mistakes that people from India or Asians do while pronunciation?
The
Generally used towards daily conversations.
the biggest mistake that I noticed,
Yeah.
it is pronouncing each and every letter of the word, which is not something that happens in French at all.
Yeah.
You come here, you talk to somebody. If you try to put stress on each letter of the word, it sounds very very weird, and it is very at times even incomprehensible for the native speaker.
Yeah.
When they
Definitely.
listen to it, they are like, what is this guy saying, because I do not understand it. So learning the pronunciation is quite important,
Yeah.
I would say, because it can lead to quite funny misunderstanding. Also, there is something called fosami. Fosami is a word that has a meaning in English,
Yeah.
but the meaning can be quite different in French. So they have the same spelling, but the meaning can be quite different. Right from the top of my head, I cannot think of anything right now. But
Okay.
there are a set of words which look the same, but the meaning is different.
Yeah.
Because in English, the word has a meaning. The same word exists in French, but with a different meaning. Uh,
Okay.
So when that happens too, students have this confusion. Uh, so it's quite necessary to identify words like
Yeah.
that and not use them in a particular context where you think that it means something because you know it in English. But it does not mean the same thing in French.
Yeah.
So there is also, this is also a very common error which happens with faux sami. If you translate faux sami into uh, English, it will be like wrong friends or like untrustworthy friends, because
Okay.
you cannot put trust in them because they are not what they seem like.
What is the exact translation for it in French?
Faux is false.
False.
Ami is friend. Uh,
Okay.
False friends.
Yeah. Okay. So then, as we know, as you know,
Yeah.
I'm like, in French, most of the pronunciation doesn't make full sentence. I mean, like, for example, rice is
Yeah.
the spelling goes R-I-Z.
Yeah.
It if we commonly call it as riz, but
Yeah.
they call it as re.
Re. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is so much difference in writing and reading and
Yeah.
pronunciation, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think that people should from Asia or the people who come as a foreigners to France should really focus on, write it, be speaking,
Hmm.
or that reading and writing is eventually important? What do you think?
For day-to-day activities, imagine that you are here for a 1 year study or 2 year study and you're planning to go back. What you should specialize in, or what you should focus on, is just the spoken aspect of it, because
Okay.
the spoken language is what you need. You need to communicate with people, you need to get ideas across. But if you are planning to work over here,
Yeah.
then it's not a choice between this thing and that thing. It is, you should be a specialist in everything. You
Yeah.
should understand. You should be able to understand even when people speak faster.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to read things and understand easily. You should be able to write in professional level French. Listening to should not be a problem. When you are speaking, others should understand.
Yeah.
So the four major competences in language, they are all important. Earlier, the language competency required for certain jobs was B1. Now it is B2 or C1. So the level of French required, it has changed. And also, people who are coming in, they should be more focusing on their language skills, I would say, because at the end of the day, it's a French job market and not an English job
Job market.
market per
Yeah.
se. Yeah.
The job market we will talk about the while we speak about your internships as well.
Yeah.
Before moving there, did you have any awkward or funny moments, embarrassing moments because of the language communication?
I have been a very careful speaker. Some or the other times, even if I make a mistake, it is often corrected there and then, because I recognize the mistake right after saying it. Sometimes I use the four-summy thing that I just explained to you, or sometimes it can also be that the language has different registers, what you call, like you how you use the language and verbs in formal settings, how you use it in an informal setting.
Yeah.
So it can be a verb that you use in an informal setting. Sometimes you can use it in a formal settings. So I have used a verb that you usually use, which is called mate, which means to watch, in a formal setting. And somebody told me that I am not supposed to use it in
Mm-hmm.
a formal setting. I am supposed to use another verb called regarder, which means also to watch. So both are correct, but which verb to use where, it is again another level of understanding of language that you are
Okay.
supposed to get, and you usually get it by discussion, immersion, talking.
Mm-hmm.
It is very difficult to get all these distinctions while being a foreign language students abroad.
Mm-hmm. So, how is the student life here for you?
The student life over here has been quite interesting, more so because I came here much later. I decided to do my master's when I was 28, so much later than most people.
Yeah.
So it has been an interesting experience going from working to back to studies. So the change was quite interesting, and I also came in the time where AI was being heavily used by students in the studies. So that was also a very good discovery, how things have drastically changed from last 7 years to now. The AI usage, the AI that I was having experience having used was Google, to search for this, that, etc., or translators which were using language models. But now it has drastically changed. There are several events and organizations which happen throughout the year in the campus, which help students be involved, be active, and get us out there to do activities, which is very good, which I feel. Uh, Language barrier is something that most people face.
Yeah.
I did not have that because I knew the language, so I was able to interact with many people, get in contact with people, go out, explore. Opportunities are there for everyone, but it is always preferred to know the language,
Yeah.
so that you can interact more with students who are also from France. Having said that, there is also a substantial population of students who come from different other countries over
Yeah.
here. I have made friends with many people who have come from many other countries, not just France.
Yeah.
That has also been a very good experience, how you get to know what the international aspect of a business school is. The more you try to interact with others, the more you learn about other cultures, languages, people, politics. You get to see a lot of things from different visions when you are in a international business school. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Uh, do you really hang up with the locals or with the international people more?
The people I used to hang out with, it's quite funny. I usually hang out with international students,
Okay.
not even the French ones. I hang out more with people from, there are people from Nigeria, there are people from Mexico, there are a few Indian students too that I hang out with. There are people from Vietnam. There is yeah, from different parts of the world. It's quite there are many students from China, so it is quite uh, a casserole with mixture from here, there, etc. So that helps you have an international vision. Again, you also get to know what the problems of all these international students are
Yeah.
by interacting with them. If we all have the same problems, if we have different issues being in a foreign country, because all of these students are foreign students in a different country,
Yeah.
when you interact with the French students and the circle, it's a different world. It's a different set of conversations, issues, uh, objectives, which is also good to know, good to interact from time to time. But how to balance everything? It's really a balancing act. You need to know how to have a certain number of international people, a certain number of people from your own country, a few number of locals.
Yeah.
So it's demanding. It's takes time, energy to invest in different circles and people, but it's also very rewarding. At the end of the day, you get to learn a lot, know a lot, and have a lot of fun too.
Okay. Like generally, you know French and you can easily integrate with the people
Hmm.
over here. Like with the local people. Did you see that people really struggle to interact or to hang up with the local people as friends, even
Hmm.
friends not officially, because they don't know the language?
I think yes, because people who come, many of the students who come over here are also students who are coming directly after the bachelor's.
Yeah.
So they themselves have not gone out a lot.
Yeah.
They themselves have not are not very open to putting themselves in uncomfortable situations or being in awkward situations, going and talking to people. So such problems exist for themselves, so that keeps them a bit away from interactions. That is an issue that foreign national students need to work on. You need to be open enough to go and talk with other people to discover new things, so that others can also know who you are.
Yeah.
You choose to come over here, you choose to study over here, so it's put one more step ahead, go one more step further, and also choose to interact with people. Now, if you put in some energy and time, you usually find that people are very welcoming.
I'm like, what do you say to the people generally who think that we can go there or learn French, or like a lot of people or consultants will generally say that French is not an issue. You can go there, you can study because the medium of instructions will be in English. Well,
Uh,
how do you see that then?
it's a very good question. What I have noticed over here is that many more students are coming every year into France, but they have little to no knowledge of French.
Yeah,
Um, Basically, they are walking into a trap.
yeah,
Why? Because the French market, like I said, the French job market is in French. So, if French job market is in French, and if you're doing a master's in English in France, after the course, after the masters is recognized by the French companies. But the fact that you do not have the language competencies keep you outside the market. So you are often forced to look for internships in English speaking countries later on.
yeah,
You're forced to look for internships back in India, in UK, or other countries where English speakers are welcomed. And many a times when you look at opportunities abroad, then you will also have to start thinking about your visa. You also will have to arrange for funds, shifting, all these things. You also need to remember that an internship is mandatory to validate your course. So finding an internship is very important, and in order to get an internship, it's difficult. So without knowing the language, walking into the market, it doesn't really matter if it is a French market or a German market or some other market. If the
yeah,
market is asking for something, you should have it. If you do not have it, then you are just thrown outside. So that is what is a major issue many students face. Even from our batch, many people who have done their course have found it difficult to get something because of just the language issue. They are
yeah,
competent people, they are skilled people, they might even have work experience, but they are stranded in the market just because of the language issue.
yeah.
And that is something these consultancies and other people do not tell you, but students should be focusing very much on.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I'm like, now when I'm having with the discussion with my friends and fellow colleagues, they are literally saying that that the language is as much as important as the technical knowledge they have in their field.
Yeah.
I'm like, even some point, some people are saying a bit of the technical aspects. They're putting the language ahead of all the technical knowledge they have. I'm
Eh,
like, that much important it has become.
Yes, yes, yes. I would suggest that if you do not learn the language before coming over here, the 2 year or 1 year you are here, like spend it on learning the language so that
Yeah.
at the end of your course, you are competent enough to have a shot.
Bro, I'm like learning a language, as we mentioning throughout this podcast. Do you think learning a new language can change a personality of a person?
I think so. I myself, I am a polyglot. I speak several languages, 6 languages, and I can understand up to 7. So each time you are learning a language, you are not just learning the grammar of it. I would say you are also exposing yourself to culture, the way that they think of different things, politics, songs, art.
Yeah,
So when you learn a language, you are in fact helping your brain, helping yourself process and see world in a different way. And seeing the world in a different way is in fact helping your brain evolve. So it changes your personality. It influences what you are, who you are. Again, in certain languages, the way that you structure and say things, it is different from how you structure and say it in another language. Some languages can be very direct, some languages can be indirect,
yeah,
depending on the language formation, depending on the cultural context. So to know these intricacies of language, that takes time, but learning them also makes you a much more aware person of the culture. Your world and what you think inside your cocoon and inside your corner of the world is not the entire world. It is much bigger,
yeah,
and there are many more things to see, learn, and even unlearn, because many things that you think to be true might not be true.
Yeah, it's a different story.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, I'm like when we talk about learning French, we usually say learn French before coming here, right? So, do you think someone can reach up to level of C1 and C2
Mm.
without being in France?
Up to a level of C1, maybe yes. C1, yes, yes. Not maybe. Yeah, it is very much possible. Uh,
C1.
yeah, yeah, it is very
Oh,
much possible to do it in India. You do it, but you will be not using the language that is being used on a day-to-day basis over here.
yeah,
But you will have language competencies, very strong language competencies, linguistic competencies. Yes, you will have. C2 is a native level
yeah,
comprehension and spoken. That you will have once you start living in the culture.
yeah,
Once you start living in the country, you will pick up on underlying jokes, politics, how the language is used and said in unconventional ways. Apart from the grammatical usage of the language, there can also be non-grammatical usages with the language. There can be a street language, there can be a formal language. So all these things you pick up when you are living in a day-to-day life, interacting with people, which is very difficult to be done and replicated back in India or any other country.
yeah.
So a high level of French proficiency, it is very much attainable while you are back in India.
Mhm.
B2, C1, yes, it's possible. Takes time, energy, effort from your side because you are not getting the immersion that we were talking about before.
Yeah.
But if you are someone who is heavily motivated, and it requires a lot of motivation to learn to a high level of one language, so if you are willing to do that, why not? You can. C2, maybe not.
Okay, then don't you think the accent has a role to play in this because you don't see French accent in India?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Accent is another issue, but each language or each language speaker has one or the other accent. For example, let's take our example right now. You and I are speaking English with a particular accent that is influenced by our mother tongue.
Yeah.
So, similarly, other people when they speak English, we all know how the French people speak English. They speak English with a very French accent,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's difficult for English speakers and other people to understand it. So this issue happens everywhere for each
Yeah.
language, everything. The objective of language is communication. The ability for you to get the message across to the other person in as easy a method as possible, as easy a communication as possible. So accent can be a hindrance, but it is not a block. It does not completely block the communication.
Okay.
So with time, you can learn to reduce the accent. You can learn to minimize your maternal language influence on the other foreign languages that you pick up, but that does not restrict you completely from
Yeah.
learning something
Okay.
new. You can learn something new. It might have some of the other small issues or small corrections which are required, which can be learned later on when you move to France and when you start listening to it on a day-to-day basis. You yourself can make corrections, or other people can even help you make corrections.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fine. I think we have give some enough insights about the language
Yeah.
and learning language. So let's focus on your internship.
Okay.
So where does the opportunity you got, and can you walk us to the process of seeing the opportunity and getting the letter from them?
Okay. My opportunity, it was quite funny. Uh, there is something called career fair which happens at the campus.
Okay.
So it is when different companies come to meet students. Mm, I also passed through there. The opportunities are told to be exclusively for French students because it requires high level of French
French.
language understanding, etc. So I went there, I passed, and I gave my CV. I had a small conversation with the person at the stall, And he said that, yeah, if the HR is interested, he would get back to me. That happened in October, I believe, beginning of October. And in December, I received an email saying that, okay, you have been shortlisted, and you can fill this thing, and then we will put you to rounds. So it's a company called Capgemini Invent. It's in Paris. So I went to different rounds of interviews with the company. The first one was with the HR, who was checking if I am a good fit for the company, if the expectations I have and what the company is able to provide are aligned. The second one was a skill test where I was given a case study for 45 minutes, where I had to solve a thing and then pitch something to the person who was taking my examination. It was with a consultant. The last round was with the vice president of the division that I was going to join in, and the division is called change management, and it's about integrating AI and other changes, or even downsizing, how to go through it for a company,
Okay.
how a disruption is integrated. It is quite related to company organization, HR, etc. So that was the last round. Then I had to wait for a few days, and I got a positive reply back, and yeah, that was quite surprising and happy. It's also a happy moment because people were stressing a lot about internship, and
Internships.
uh, right when I began to stress, I got the offer, and I was like, okay, yeah, I needn't stress anymore. At least something is there down in the bag. Like many people say, after getting the first opportunity, then I got two more opportunities from other companies who asked me to pass the interview and take the thing, which I didn't follow through because I had already signed with the other people.
Yeah.
So again, in order to finalize your internship, you are supposed to sign a tripartite agreement with the company, you and your school,
Okay.
which finalizes your internship with the particular company. So
Okay.
till you sign the convention with the tripartite agreement, you are quite free to scout for other
Other
opportunities.
opportunities. Okay.
So as I signed the opportunity, it was a done deal. So
Oh,
nothing more.
so you're not supposed to reach out to another.
After you do it, even if you get something else, you have already signed and you have already agreed to a
Okay, I think
contract.
your
It's a contract.
college people won't give you the contract.
Yeah, yeah, you have already signed a contract
Yeah,
and we
that's
have
what I'm
agreed to
saying.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Does all the process went in the French?
Yeah. For me, as the job, the interview, the even the work, it will all be in French.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So you mentioned about the fairs, career fairs, right, in
yeah.
college. Do you see any English speaking jobs over there?
There are English speaking jobs, but to be honest and not to give false hope to other people,
Yeah.
they are quite low. Even though if they are English speaking jobs, they would require you to know or understand a certain level of French. Usually they ask you
Yes.
for like a B1 at least, or
Yeah.
sometimes B2 level of French. So again, for people who are looking at France as a possible option, it's a good option. Uh, should know language.
It's at the end of the day, we all end up at French.
Yeah. People start taking tuitions.
Yeah, I'm like you spoke still now. Now also you're taking tuitions to the people.
Very few people, but yeah, it is so funny. It is so funny to see. In fact, people, not knowing that it was necessary and coming.
Yeah.
Uh, and but at least for these people who are taking and doing something about it, they are doing something active. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if they are going to stay in France, it will help them. Huh? The people who are not doing anything about it, I don't know what they are going to do. Because it really does create this uh, expectation and skill difference, which is quite difficult to overcome. You can get lucky.
Yeah.
Let's That's the other thing. Earlier too, I mentioned that there is this aspect of luck, because sometimes you are lucky and you get a job which only requires you to know English. Well and good, good for you, but that is a very minute percentage. And in
Yes.
France, most of the jobs, again, as I have not mentioned it, let me say, it goes through networking. What they call networking is a referral or recommendation that you say in India. So you need to have a recommendation or referral to get the interview at many points. Even if you get the referral and you are already going towards something, then comes this language thing. So it is very important to network in France. It is also very important to have the language skill as a foreign national.
Okay, as you mentioned, like ways of to get into internships and companies. Do you think is there any other ways that people can look at?
Yeah, I would say if you are somebody who is skilled, and the skill can be work experience, it can be a niche job market that you are serving, that will also help you find something very particular. So then it's about your skills and everything being in from a very particular system that is helping you get it. It is not necessarily luck over there. It's
Yeah.
because you have a very particular skill.
Yeah.
But for people who do not have that particular skill, then you become one among the mass. There
Yeah.
are many people who have the skill that you have, and you are not really distinguished. And there is also this entire chat around AI and how everything is being scanned. All the CVs go through this AI screening, and then not all the HRs are looking at it manually, etc. I don't want to get into that, but it's always better to have a referral so that
Mm-hmm.
you know that it gets seen by the hiring manager. Also, there are different sites to apply. If you are looking at different ways of application, there are different sites, and different sites have different objectives. There are sites which often offer mostly French profile jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also have our LinkedIn, then what's it, Indeed, Welcome
Job
to the
teaser.
Jungle, Job Teaser, all these things.
Yeah.
Job Teaser, yeah, I did get an offer from Job Teaser where I had just put up the CV,
Mm-hmm.
and then some company contacted. I thought that it was a waste to do that, but nobody would contact. But
Yeah.
out of nowhere, one day a company asked if I wanted to go for an interview, which was a fun experience, because I thought that it was not going to work. But
Yeah.
someday somebody sees it, and then they are interested in what you have, and you have what they are looking for. So it's again a match happens,
Yeah.
luck, a lot, and then you can get a chance like that too. I do think that maintaining good relations with your professors, and also reaching out to people who have previously done your course, that helps a lot in networking, building, knowing what is out there in options, which companies are in fact hiring
Yeah.
in your sector, what you want. So an active engagement is required. You should not be shy. You should not be shy to send cold messages to people that you don't know, trying to get a reply from them. There can be no reply from people, there can be rejections. You get used to it, and then you move ahead,
Yeah.
which people do not often talk about. But this is the reality, and you have to face it and move ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm like, when you spoke about CVs, I would like to ask, do you, I'm like, do you saw any pattern of change in the way people keep in their CVs, the detailing? Do you
Uh,
say any difference in India and here in France?
In India, when I applied, at least in uh, it was very detailed, very detailed. Over here, it's all numbers, facts.
Mm-hmm.
You seldom cross one page. Most of the times, it's one page CV.
Yeah.
In India, I have seen many people with more than one page CV. Over here, it's just one page of very concrete data, and they want to see metrics. They want to see conversions. Figures are often appreciated. As a foreign national student, your visa status, your mobility, if you are willing to work abroad or just within France, that those things should be mentioned.
Okay.
Your visa, if you're in a student visa, that should be mentioned. Then what else? A link to your LinkedIn can be also like very often seen over here. A professional photo of you is often seen in CVs. Then it also depends on the domain that you're applying to. Some domains, they prefer color, they prefer very active personalized CVs. Other
Okay.
domains are very boring, very number, very metrics, and it depends. It depends.
I think for constant we can mention marketing and finance.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to say it out loud, but yeah.
Yeah, it's obvious, bro. It's visible.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that's what you normally see. But sometimes even maybe if you try a colorful thing in marketing, like a colorful thing in finance,
Finance.
it might work out.
You never know.
You never know.
Like last two questions from my side.
Yeah.
What advice would you like to give to someone who is learning French?
Someone who is learning French, if you're planning to come to France, you have already made the right decision. The very first step is to learn French. Keep at it. Put immersion as your major goal. Try talking with people. Try messaging people. Watch videos, podcasts, YouTube, which will keep you more updated about French culture, French society, and also you can hear more up-to-date expressions than old French or like literary French per se. Uh, then look at the exchange program that I was talking about earlier, the language exchange program. If you are not really interested in a long-term study over here, you could still look at the linguistic exchange, the culture exchange program for English language assistants. It's called Assistana. That's another possibility. There are private tuitions available. You also can take the help of Alliance Française or even schools which offer diplomas in language. Even in Hyderabad, Osmania University
Yeah.
has German, French, etc. diploma courses that they offer too. So yeah, all these things are possibilities for French language learners. Keep at it, and you will reach good heights.
Fine. Do you have anything to say to the people who are moving out of India?
For the people who are moving out of India, it's a very interesting question.
I'm like, because people move out of India with certain expectations,
Yeah.
certain perspectives.
Yes. Like I mentioned many times in the in this our podcast, that it's a country. France is a country which expects you to assimilate all your practices, all your beliefs, everything. It is your personal beliefs. They have this principle of laïcité, which is secularism. So laïcité is a very major thing over here. So our religious practices, our political convictions, all these things, our personal ones related to back to India, they are quite private over here, not like back in India. So how we integrate is a very important question that all these people should ask themselves. The food that we have back in India is not here. It's a different country. So the food might be a issue for many students who are moving over here. It also gives you the opportunity to learn cooking. You can cook the foods that you want, try new taste. You can get habituated to the French cuisine, like most of us have, by going to cruise and eating out, etc. It is also a good experience. The change in culture, how we are very collectivist society. Over here, it's quite individualistic. So that change should also be something that people should be looking forward to. The last thing that they could look into is also the change in climate for people like us who come from the south,
Yeah.
where it is very hot. You come over here and suddenly the temperature is 1 degree in the morning. It is a big change. It takes some time getting adjusted to.
Yeah.
As you can see, I'm no longer wearing a pullover. It's just a shirt because summer is here.
Yeah.
Rather, spring is here. Everything is blooming again outside, and the weather is becoming much, much, much better. So 3-4 hours, 3-4 months, in fact, of good weather is what you can expect over here. After that, it is wind, rain, cold. It gets we get used to it, but initially it can be a shock
Yeah.
for people who have not done their research before making the choice.
Yeah.
So that can also be quite tricky. In case anybody is planning to go to Norway or Sweden, they should know that they do not have sun for a very long time during the year.
Yeah.
So that too is something interesting, because as you might have also noticed, Mahit, there are many people who come quite clueless to a foreign country, right?
Yeah, I've seen.
So we wish them all the best and hope that they make much wiser choices looking at different aspects.
Fine. Although I want to add, but from the mentions point, I
Yeah.
just want to add few. Ask few one thing.
Yeah.
Do you like French cuisines here? Like the food.
See, I'm a very, very good South Indian guy. I like my food and everything very much. But I'm very open to trying new things. I try new cuisines. In fact, one of the major ways by which I have met new people is by going and trying the food that they have cooked. At the same time, I invite them over to have food that I make. So the food that we make is over spicy. Or hot, as in like it's not just about the spices, but you are not able to take how much heat the food has. Much more about Telangana and Andhra than even in Kerala. Yeah, again, the food is also very cultural. It's also very social. How this food came into being across the years, why they are eating a certain thing. There is a potato is often had over here in Europe, and it's often had here because throughout the First and Second World War, people were surviving just on potatoes.
Yeah.
So the cuisine has potato everywhere. In almost everything, a major dish is potato. Like we have rice, it's replaced by potato.
But I don't think Indians are really can get out of the Indian cuisine. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. We are very much used to our cuisines, our taste.
Yeah.
It's good, but we should also be open to trying new things.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
not caricaturize everything.
Yeah. I think that's all from my side, bro. It's enough. You have given enough insights.
Yeah, it was a pleasure talking with you, Mahesh. Thank you for inviting me to your show.
Yeah.
It was quite a delight to talk so long with you, and I hope that things that I said help someone or the other. And it's really great that you are doing a channel like this
Thank
to
you.
educate people and bring more light into the life of students and life abroad. And to everyone who is watching, like and subscribe to Mahesh's channel so that it can grow substantially.
Thanks, bro. I never says that, but okay. But as bro mentioned, I also really say you to look at some videos, research yourself when you're moving to abroad. I have seen from last 2 to 3 years, there are so many people come up with the content in France as well. You have a couple of videos, go out there, check out them, then come up with your conclusions and your ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
Thank you, Mahesh.
Thank you.